your anxiousness would go up and the chances of your skill level actually performing would go down because you are low skilled in a high challenging environment. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the banks of the dirty river right down the road from my residence. And I actually thought that the river would be raging based on the weather that we've had here lately, but it's not. It's quite serene, it's quite calm, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the ratio that is going to increase your productivity and effectiveness in your work, in your life, in your team's flow. Ooh, beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. So think of the river of your work right now. The river of your work, is it a turbulent like level 5 or is it a serene like level 0 or 0.5? What's the temperature of your team? Is it a hot like raging, steamy is the wrong word, or is it cool and calm and collective? And when you think about this, think of this ratio. Imagine that this axis right here stood for challenge and this axis stood for skill. That's the ratio we need to think about when we think about the ultimate flow up in between for our work productivity, for our work effectiveness. Because as you know, if your skill is super low and you get put in a really high challenging environment, your anxiety and productivity goes down, your anxiety goes up, right? So if I was to find a kayak here and throw you in a kayak and it was a raging 5 water, and you had zero knowledge on how to use a kayak, your anxiety would be through the roof and probably your productivity getting through without hurting yourself would be super, super low. Flip that and say, let's lower the challenge and increase the skill. What happens there? I put you in a kayak, it's a flat water, you need a challenge and you feel very bored very quickly. So the boredom sits over here because you are super high skilled, but very low challenge. So the flow is the idea of finding the middle ground. How can you this week, as you step back with your team, realize that I need to challenge this person a little bit more and maybe challenge this person a little less based on the skills that they currently own? Something for you to think about, something for you to stretch yourself, maybe 5% this week by yourself, and know that the famous quote that talks about how a river doesn't drink its own water is exactly what you need to think about when you think about this ratio and your team. How can you pour into others, push it down the river, and share all the knowledge that you know so that you can challenge others? We'll see you next week on LeaderBite. Cheers.